Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Welcome to New Life Live. We are so glad that you are with us today. It's me, Chris Williams, licensed marriage and family therapist. I also have JJ West, licensed marriage and family therapist. How are you doing today, JJ?
I'm doing great, Chris. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Hey, man, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Coming up in February, here in Orange County, great time to be in California. We have the Intimacy in Marriage Intensive.
Yes.
You know, one couple said this, the intensive was life-changing for both of us individually and as a couple. We've been in very different spaces since attending. The comfort circle has been incredibly helpful in cutting through noise and getting to the heart of the issue. When people experience the comfort circle, what are they experiencing? Like, again, how are they learning these skills and what are they doing? What's it doing for the relationship?
Yeah, that's such a great question. So at the heart of it, the comfort circle is a reflective listening tool or exercise or program or format to follow that helps you engage in reflective listening. But it's more than that, because the whole weekend when we're doing the Intimacy and Marriage workshop, we're helping couples identify these core patterns in their lives that they learned in childhood that get repeated in their marriage over and over again. They get stuck in the way that they connect and the way they communicate with one another. And so what the comfort circle does is, it's like if you went to the doctor, right, and they do that reflex test where they bang the little hammer on your knee and your leg kicks up, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's a reflex. It just does it automatically. You're not thinking about it. You're not making it happen. And so much of our emotional responses in our relationships are just like that. They're like that reflex action, okay, that we can't make stop. But what we can do, and this is what the comfort circle does, is if there was a rope attached to my leg, right, or someone was holding my leg, when they hit that little hammer on my knee would want to kick up, but it would be prevented from doing so.
Yeah.
That's what the comfort circle does, is it allows them to engage in a conversation on a topic that normally would be very emotionally, not necessarily traumatizing, but emotionally reactive.
Yeah.
And it allows them to engage in it without their knees flying all over the place, because the comfort circle allows them to walk through the conversation in a healthier way. It gives them some really healthy guidelines for how to ask good questions and how to share what they're experiencing emotionally without it being this constantly triggering back and forth. And then we're just lobbing our grenades from one foxhole to the other.
Yeah.
There's a structure to it.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a great structure to it.
That guides you along.
Absolutely.
So you have to be in a place of calm in order to do it, right? So if things escalate, you often have to take a time out and then you come back.
And it also helps you get to a place of calm.
Yes.
You know, and so one of the cues my wife and I use to get into the comfort circle is what's really going on here. So, what's really going on here? How many of our arguments are never about what's really going on here?
Not about the surface issue.
And the comfort circle helps us get to what's really going on here. So many of our marriages get caught in these traps of never addressing the real issue.
Correct.
And our internal world oftentimes is disrupting and dysregulating, all of the things. It's loud and noisy in there.
Right.
And so getting to intimacy in marriage really helps you really get down to what's really going on here. Exactly. We would love to have you join us. It will be in October 14th. That is Valentine's Day weekend here in Orange County. February. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Valentine's weekend.
Yeah, Valentine's weekend. Yes, February. Yeah. And we would love for you to join us. Go to newlife.com. Check us out there, and you can sign up for that wonderful, wonderful, transformative weekend. We're going to be back right after this.
I had been in porn addiction. My past had not been found out at all, yet I had hit a point in my life where it was time.
Men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. The Everyman's Battle Intensive can help.
I never divulged what I'd been doing.
Find help today at New Life's Everyman's Battle Intensive.
This is a place that changed my life in such a positive way for Christ, because I could be the Christian man that I'm called to be.
Now the intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, December 6th through the 8th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
I cannot say enough what it does in the Christian community for not just men, for their children, for their wives.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you're with us. Myself, Chris Williams, our resident psychologist, Dr. Jill Hubbard,
yes,
and
hello.
Another marriage and family therapist, J.J. West. We are so glad that you're with us today. And we're going to go to Fiona, who connects with us through SiriusXM and is in Atlanta, Georgia. Fiona, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Tell us what's going on and how we can help you.
Okay. First of all, so glad to be talking to you guys. You guys changed my life, first of all, and I'm so thankful for what you guys are doing. But as a brief backstory, I am separated. I've been going through a divorce for about a year now. I have 3 children, and I went to the Restore conference actually recently, which seems to be the missing puzzle piece, because I was doing therapy for myself and going to doctors and things like this. But that was kind of the final puzzle piece where I was able to find my voice.
If I can jump in here really quickly. What did you discover? What was that final puzzle piece that you discovered at Restore?
Honestly, my identity in Christ and what He says about me is the only truth.
Yeah.
I've been believing a lot of lies my entire life, but after that, I just really felt the Holy Spirit in my heart, and it's just, I've been convicted ever since.
That's
wonderful.
Yeah, it was amazing. But I guess my question is that, and I don't use this term loosely because I've been to several doctors myself who have called my ex a narcissist from his behaviors that I've told him. And I do very well. I've been doing very well lately, except when it comes to communicating with him, which we never did in our marriage, and I don't know why I expect for it to be different now. But we have to talk about the kids, and sometimes I can't get them to text me back or even answer the phone. So how do I not let that trigger me, and how do I deal with communicating with somebody like this?
Well, Fiona, you said something very key. Why am I expecting it now in divorce when I didn't have it in my marriage? So it's going to be even worse than it was in the marriage because you have no buffer and none of the good, right? So you have to remind yourself who He is, because He's showing you all the time. So communicating is very, very difficult. Good to do it in writing, so that you have record of it. But you may also, and I've also heard recently that there are also communication lines that you can do that are monitored. I don't know if they're monitored by the courts.
Co-parenting apps.
Yeah, things like that where it's monitored that can also be helpful. And so if he's not responding, that's being seen. You might have to have somebody who's an intermediary that you could talk through, someone that he wouldn't be hostile to or trying to, make a point with. You have to get very creative and expect it to be difficult. And unfortunately, yes, there's lots of things you have to talk about with the kids. you may be talking to yourself a lot. And so I would get other people in your world that you can bounce things off of, that can be that sounding board for you in making decisions. And if there's anything he has to sign off on, then again, using some of those other techniques of having someone else maybe approach him that he would be more agreeable with.
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, two things to keep in mind here. One, I heard this line from a stand-up comedian who said, with narcissists, they have the disease and you have the symptoms.
Yeah.
And I just thought that's a really insightful comment, because that's what it feels like when you're dealing with a narcissist. You recognize that they're the one that has the problem, but I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like I'm doing something wrong, or I feel like I'm not handling life well or whatever, but I have to keep coming back to, but no, this is just, I'm seeing the symptom in my life, but it's a symptom of their disease, not my brokenness, right? And so you want to keep coming back to that. And then number two, especially because there are children involved here who also have to relate to their narcissistic father, I think it'd be really important for you guys to get into some good family therapy, where they have some space to talk about what it's like to be in relationship with a father who does this, who relates this way, who drags his feet, doesn't respond, uses power plays to try and control everyone, right? Like, it's important for them to have some safe space to talk about that, and also to be reminded in that safe space that just because they see the symptoms show up in their life doesn't mean they're the ones with the disease, that it's his disease. So and I would encourage that for you as well, not just for them, but if you guys could get into some good family therapy, that could be really helpful. But I agree with Jill. The more you can have communication in writing, using some co-parenting apps, so that there's a track record of if he responds inappropriately or if he doesn't respond at all, you have the receipts to show if you need to go back to court or if you have to work with a mediator for some decisions.
And also, Fiona, to re-emphasize, you're not going to get anything from him. He's not going to be reasonable with you. He's going to undermine you at every turn if he truly is a narcissist, because they never give up the fight. You might think, well, we're divorced now. Or
they're constantly looking for fuel for the fight.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And so I want to give you three things. Oh, go ahead, Jill.
Okay.
You first. Jill, I jumped in on you, Jill. You first,
That's
Jill.
okay. You can give your three things. But let me just say, in your communication, remember, everything is about him, even if it doesn't seem like it's about him. Only deal in facts. Again, don't try to get him to have any understanding of you or the kids. Just give him the facts.
I've tried to just give him the facts, and usually it's like if a child's sick or I need help doing something. So I'm trying to co-parent with somebody who
he doesn't want to co-parent.
He can't communicate. And when they go to his house, they come back, and I feel like I have to undo all the things that they were exposed to. And
and Fiona, if it makes you feel any better, the transition for all kids going back and forth is always difficult. So there's whether they're a narcissist or
even
not.
in the best situations.
There's still some of that, because they're having to adapt now to two different environments and the feelings that they're contending with about that. And so there's a little bit of time when they come back where you have to settle them down a bit and give them a little space to transition. And the other thing is, if when you're talking, I know it's like you want to be just really direct with the person. Sometimes you have to finesse it a little bit and not ask them directly, not act like you're demanding anything, but kind of putting it almost as if it's their idea.
Oh, that's
their idea.
Right. And anytime you can stroke him, all the better.
Yeah.
Right? Give him the benefit of the doubt, help him save face. And I know that's nauseating.
I don't want to do that.
I know. But Fiona, I'm trying to help you make it easier. Okay? And it's know who he is.
Absolutely. And so adjusting your expectations.
Yes.
He is. And so narcissists are often always playing a game that they set the rules so that they can win. right? So there's a couple other things, So I
So make them think they won.
I coach youth baseball, and I've seen all the tricks.
Oh.
And there's a lot of them out there. And there are coaches and teams that will try to manipulate the game, manipulate the umpires, manipulate the play, all of these sort of things, and just quite honestly, cheat, and try to set different rules to their advantage. And I tell I tell my players all the time, you can only control the controllables.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
I guess resetting my expectations is very hard, but that's what I need to do. And I guess that's where I'm kind of stuck. Is that I know I need to not expect much because there was never much, but it's hard to think that you're quote unquote by law co-parenting and then
Well, the truth of the matter is that the expectations are the avoidance of reality. Because you keep saying you're co-parenting, but you're not.
Yeah, you're not co-parenting.
That's not what's happening here.
That's true.
You are stronger than you think. You are the parent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless he shows you otherwise, but I'm not hearing it.
Yeah. And so, Fiona, you get to set the rules for how you're going to do it in the things that you can control. And then working really hard and supporting yourself in the things that are scary that you can't control.
Okay.
Right. And that's honestly where the serenity prayer could be really
and it
helpful.
requires your kids to have to, unfortunately, step up a little more and learn who their dad is. And kids at times will try to pit, parents against each other. And so you have to kind of appeal to your kids and what they know to be true and right.
And I was just going to say one more thing about the communication. There's 3 words. Be short. Because narcissists love words. Because
they want to manipulate words.
They always are searching for the thing to
add
fuel to their story. Okay, because they're making up a story in which they're setting the rules. So keep it short, keep it clear, and keep it firm.
Okay.
So short, clear, and firm. He's gonna want a rabbit trail. He's going to want to try to get you off of topic. And it's a control tactic. So you got to stay firm.
Don't bite the bait.
Don't bite it.
Okay.
So
just don't respond.
Yep.
All right. Well, I appreciate that so much.
No.
I just needed to kind of know where I'm at and what kind of work I have in front of me. And it's a lot. But.
Yes. Well,
it is a lot.
as much as reality can seem like your enemy right now, it's actually your friend. And that's where getting clear is really important. We're going to send you a copy of the book, The Emotionally Destructive Relationship by Leslie Vernick. And that will, again, show you a little bit more that you are not alone here, that this is unfortunately a much more common theme than we would like it to be. But there's also ways to work through it and to work in it. And I couldn't encourage you enough to get into a therapist who understands narcissistic personality disorder really, really well. So, Fiona, thank you so much for calling in today, and we will be cheering you on, praying you on as you parent your kids really, really well in this really, really difficult situation. I want to remind everyone or let everyone know, if you're new to the show or if you've been listening a little bit, we've got this incredibly generous gift here at New Life Live and it is just something that we really want to invite other people into. And this generosity is a matching gift of $385,000. So when you give right now, the impact of your gift goes twice as far. It allows us to help more people. It allows us to move our ministry forward and allows people who are struggling in life's hardest places, in deep pain and frustration or dangerous relationships, get connected to the resources that will ultimately change their lives. JJ, I think of the men who have received scholarships from Every Man's Battle. Quite honestly, I'm actually working on a case right now and trying to get him the resources that he needs to get there. And so I want you to remind us not what happens when the individual who's struggling with sexual acting out gets help, but when they actually get into recovery, who else is impacted by the help that they receive?
so many people. I mean, the ripple effects are huge, but primarily the spouse is helped because all of a sudden now the chaos of my world is starting to make sense. And I get the husband and the marriage that I've always longed for. The kids are helped because dad is suddenly present. He's able to interact with us. He isn't constantly being distracted by his addiction anymore. The church is helped because he now has a sense of purpose in his ministry.
Yeah.
The neighborhood's helped.
Yeah,
right? Like
it just goes
the world
on.
is helped.
Yeah, it just goes on and on and on and on. By helping us help one person, you're helping many people. You can text the word match to 28950 or go to newlife.com to donate today. You can even give us a call at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Again, by helping one, you're helping many by helping us. We'll be back right after this.
When you give to the New Life Scholarship Fund, you're giving someone hope for a brighter future.
I was kind of in the closet and hit with my struggle. Your donation really made the difference, especially in my situation, because I wound up getting laid off from my job.
At the New Life Intensives, hurting people are able to begin a new path towards healing and freedom that has an effect on all of those around them.
I think the people who support New Life financially are people that I'll never know. I'll never be able to thank them personally for the gift that they gave to us. Their giving saved me, my husband, and our family from being torn apart.
To help hurting people to connect to the help they need, make your gift to the Scholarship Fund at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE and specifying scholarships.
Someone called and sponsored me to come this weekend. Whoever that is, just know that you saved a life. Literally, you saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you are with us today. I'm in studio with Dr. Jill Hubbard. We have JJ West out there in Florida. Love having you guys on. Love hanging out with you. And we're going to go and we're going to hang out with Carmen in San Dimas, California, who listens to us on KKLA. Carmen, how's it going today?
Oh, my goodness. Hi.
Hi.
I was reading my mail. And then I heard San Dimas, Carmen.
Yeah, wake up, Carmen.
I got in.
You're in. You're in the show. So
I wasn't. Oh wow! Thank you for. Thank you.
No,
Sure.
no problem.
I've been wanting to do this for weeks and weeks, and I keep not doing it. But
well, we're glad that you did it today.
Okay, thank you. I have a question for you, ladies and gentlemen. I have a 48-year-old daughter that she's a stepdaughter. She's the daughter of my husband with his first wife, and we both have children by our previous marriage. But her name, anyway, she moved in here around 2014, I believe, and she was here for 3 years. Didn't have a job because we kind of brought her in because she lost her job and she couldn't find a job, blah, 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 and she couldn't afford her apartment, supposedly. And so we agreed to help her for a while, and she came in for about almost 3 years and never got a job. It was always excuses. We finally had to talk to a therapist that we were going to actually for my son for another problem, and she helped us to go through and give her deadlines so she can find a place because she wasn't looking for a job. So she finally did, and she moved in with her uncle and aunt, which are related to my husband's by the previous marriage. Anyway, she lived there for 8 years and still in debt.
Okay.
They finally gave her the deadline of you need to leave, and then.
So she's in the same financial situation that she was when she lived with you guys?
Yes.
Okay, so Carmen, what's going on today, and what's the question we can help you out with?
Well, we had come to an agreement, my husband and I was really scared about it again because we had a lot of problems prior about this whole thing. So we gave her stipulations that she had to get help, get a coach.
Well, hold on. Why do you need to give her stipulations? Does she want to move back in with you guys?
She did move back in.
Oh, she moved.
We missed that part.
Okay,
so aunt and uncle kicked her out, and now she's back with you.
Right.
Okay, so
since December of last year.
Okay, so December last year, daughter is living with you. You and your husband are struggling with it, and you're wondering what to do with her now.
Yes, because it's been almost a year, and nothing has changed since what we talked about at the beginning about her having her finances.
So,
well, nothing has changed since 2014. Is that correct? We're on a decade here.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, nothing has changed. She borrows money to pay.
And is she capable?
She's capable. I think she's capable.
Great. So what can we help you with? What's the question for us?
We've already given her all of what I told. We sat down and we talk every few months about how she's doing. Nothing has changed. She still borrows money to pay.
Carmen, let me jump in. We understand all of what's going on, but what are you struggling with? What can we help you? What's the question for us?
What else can I do to what else can I do for this to come to a halt and for her to either do it or not do it? Because I know we're not helping her.
Right, you're not. And so you've been through this before. So you've got to learn from your history what worked and what didn't work. And when you say she keeps borrowing money, don't loan her money.
No, she's not from us. From one of those accounts where she borrows
from
so
other
she can pay back later.
Okay. Well, part of it is there's certain things she needs to do that you're wanting her to do. So that may have to be tied to having a bed. Mm-hmm. If you want a bed tonight or by the end of the week, you have to have a job. If you want a bed by, going forward, you have to be in with a debt relief counselor. Set up the steps that you need to see and tie it to. Otherwise, she's out. She lives in her car.
Right.
People need to stop rescuing her, because unless she's really mentally ill and not capable.
And then there's different things.
And then there's different things to do.
Yeah.
But I think it's getting to the point where she is only going to do something if it really causes her pain.
Yeah.
And those are really hard things to do as a parent. But she's 48 years old. This is like you're going to have a adult baby on your hands for life.
Well, and there's this reality to it, Carmen, and that is I've done everything I can to help you fix your life, and it hasn't worked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's true too. It's not
right. So Carmen, it's letting yourself off the hook.
Yeah, putting it back in her lap.
You truly. Well, go ahead, JJ.
Just a quick question, Carmen. Are you and your husband on the same page with what you want or what you expect from your stepdaughter?
Yes and no. My husband has a real hard time pushing. Letting her know, and that's what causes a lot of the frustration with me because I don't feel like we're a team, him and I, and for him to step up.
Yeah, that makes.
She looks at me and looks at my husband and goes, "Well,
Well, yeah, she can split you guys. So, Carmen, let me jump in here because we're going to head to a break here, but we're going to continue helping you out and giving you some tangible direction to go with your daughter right after we head to the break. And if you So we'll be back right after this.
Five years ago, I had been in porn addiction, and I'd had a sexual relationship out of marriage.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity, impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography. Find help today at New Life's Every Man's Battle Intensive.
It was the first time I'd ever divulged the sin that I had.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
I found a confidential comfort that was able to put a flame to a start of a healing process.
Now the intensive is coming to Dallas, Texas, December 6th through the 8th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
Thank you, New Life. They're the redeemed man. Thank you.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because, you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you guys are with us today. We are talking with Carmen, and her and her husband have this real big problem. Mm-hmm. And the problem is a 48-year-old daughter who has a failure to launch and get out on her own and make life work for her. And JJ, I thought that you asked a really, really good question, right? Like, are you and your husband on the same page? And Carmen, you indicated that you weren't. And so that takes us in a compelling direction. Mm-hmm. So JJ, where does Carmen go from here?
Yeah, it starts with, Carmen, you and your husband sitting down and laying out exactly what you expect from your stepdaughter and what the consequences are, how you will follow up, how you and your husband will follow up if she doesn't meet those expectations. The two of you have to be on the same page in order for any interactions you have with your stepdaughter to be effective. Right now, she's pitting the two of you against one another because she knows that Dad is the easy yes, right?
Softy.
He's not gonna follow through on the consequences, and so I can get away with this. And so it's going to be important for you and your husband to sit down and talk through, and for you to share what it feels like. You understand, you can have compassion for the fact that it's hard for him to say no to his daughter, especially if it means that she's going to be out on the streets living in her car, like Jill talked about, right?
Yeah, no, it's
that
hard.
You can have compassion for that because that would be hard, but at the same time share with him how it feels when you guys have an agreement and then he doesn't follow through on that agreement with the daughter, and how that changes the whole dynamic in the household.
Yeah, and I wonder if he has guilt, maybe from the first marriage. If this daughter has never married or she's not married now, does he still feel responsible, right? Like he is the male who's supposed to take care of her?
That's a lot of it. That's a lot of what you're saying, because she's not married. She doesn't have a lot of friends. She doesn't have a car. She didn't want to drive anymore. So she doesn't have a car. I don't know how many years, maybe 20 years.
So there's a lot of learned helplessness here that we're
of learned
hearing.
Helplessness. Yeah.
Yes.
So Carmen, she's stuck and buried under mountains of fear.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think too.
Yeah. And that
fear, shame.
Yeah, and then what
not feeling
and that what happens
herself.
is that she gets to underfunction.
Yeah.
While everyone else in her life gets to overfunction, and all it does is create more stuckness and hard feelings.
Yeah. Yeah, resentment.
Right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, because that's how I feel. I mean, I just want to cry right now because I've been through this so many times.
Yeah.
I feel for her, but my husband, I resent my husband and her. And I hate that feeling.
Well, for sure.
I don't want to feel like that.
And I want you, well, what I want for you guys to be able to get into some counseling. I want you to get into some couples counseling with your husband and your stepdaughter to get into her own counseling to address the fear that is bearing her. But what we're ultimately saying is this principle. You can't help her underfunctioning function more. You're powerless against that.
Yeah.
But I will say this, your overfunctioning only fuels her underfunctioning. You've got to stop overfunctioning for her.
Because it gives her the message she's not capable.
Yes, it reinforces it.
Yeah.
You know, and it almost has like a drug-like effect in the sense that now she kind of gets that comfort from not having to take responsibility, risks, or, you know,
well, and it's always amazing
work.
To me, people that have this learned helplessness, how good they are at getting others to take care of them.
Yeah. Oh, really?
They're
good.
very resourceful.
Well, that's actually what turns into their job.
Yes.
We know they can. We know they're capable of a job because they've got other people working for them.
Absolutely.
You can own a business getting other people working for you. Yes. Yeah. Very, very good. Well,
he has a pretty good job now, thank God.
Yeah.
Good.
She's good at
well,
that and all that.
Well, Carmen,
I can do a lot better.
Yes, I have a resource for you guys. We're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back. And I think that would be good for you and your husband. I also think it would be really good for your stepdaughter. But really address the marriage and the connection in your marriage. Get in some good couples counseling. And encourage your daughter to get into her own process so that she can launch and that you all can live in better relationship with each other. But honestly, in the end, a better satisfaction and health. So, Carmen, thank you so much.
Chris, can I say one more thing?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
So, Carmen, one thing to keep in mind is this resentment that you're feeling. I don't know if you've heard this phrase before, but resentment is like drinking poison, hoping the other person's going to get sick. It doesn't work, right? So resentment is not an effective tool for bringing about change. It just makes you feel bad, right? And so your resentment toward your husband and your resentment toward your stepdaughter, it's just going to continue to grow that sense of uneasiness. It's not going to move them to change.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah. They're both stuck in their patterns.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, again, Carmen, thank you so much for calling in today. And we're going to go to one more call. We're going to go to Lynn in Cincinnati, Ohio, listening on WCVX. Lynn, how's it going today?
Oh, good. Thank you so much for taking my call.
No problem. Tell us what's happening.
Well, a lot. I'll tell you a quick synopsis of my life. I was adopted as an infant into a good Christian home, and that's the only reason sometimes I think I'm still here. I had multiple abortions in my 30s. My husband then died of leukemia in his 50s, and 7 months later, my son and daughter-in-law died of murder-suicide.
Oh, my goodness sakes.
And my 92-year-old mother died the same day.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Yes, and then my sister and mother-in-law died in the last couple months. And I had, and my son that died also had leukemia as a child. And then I had a little medical issue in the last couple of weeks, a blood issue that probably is nothing, but I turned into severe panic, and I'm just to the point where I guess I need to hear God's not punishing me, and I'm wondering about, do I have PTSD? And I know you guys have talked, I've listened to you for years about, I think it was EMDR.
Yep.
So I just wanted to find out what you thought.
Well, my initial thought is this, Lynn, is you've been through way too much.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of loss.
Yeah. And I can definitively say God is not punishing you. And I can also definitively say you're struggling with some PTSD.
Yeah.
because it would be impossible to not with the amount of loss.
And complicated grief.
And yes, very complicated and possibly complicated post-traumatic stress disorder as well. And I'm amazed at how clear you are on what you've been through, what you're going, and how clear you are on some possible solutions. Yeah.
Well, after this week, when I went into pure, don't leave the house, lay in the bed, shaking, a nervous wreck, I thought, there's a problem, and you've got to get help. And
yes.
I just listened to you guys for so many years. I just immediately came to you.
Yeah. Yeah, so Lynn, let me just say a couple of things. Chris definitively answered, no, God is not punishing you. Let me give you a couple of reasons why we can be that definitive. Number one is there was a story where Jesus was walking along with his disciples, and there was a man who was born blind, and the disciples asked the question, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? And Jesus said, neither. That's not the situation. This happened so that God's glory could be revealed in his life. And so he kind of set up a standard where, because the reason they asked the question was that the common belief of the time was that God did punish us, and that if we did wrong, he would punish us, or sometimes we would receive punishment because of our parents did wrong, right? Okay, so that's story number one. But story number two is even more compelling. It's not a story, it's a fact from Scripture. That the Scriptures tell us that the wrath of God was poured out on Christ for our sins. That he, Christ, took the punishment for our sin. All of it. There is no more wrath, there's no more punishment stored up for us, because Christ already took all of our punishment. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean that we don't face consequences for our choices. Of course we do. But God does not punish us with suffering because we did some bad thing. Okay? So that's really important, because when we're hurting the way that you are absolutely hurting right now, it gets all twisted up with, oh gosh, God is doing this to me, when in fact God is not the author of suffering. God is not the author of pain. God is not the author of evil. So I want to start with that. Obviously, the music's playing, so we'll have to come back to practical steps for healing. But know that, no, God is not punishing you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, JJ, that's such an incredibly powerful reminder, and thank you for that wisdom from Scripture. And Lynn, again, our hearts are with you right now. We're going to stay with you. We're going to head to a break right now. If you need help, please give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You need to connect with a counselor or a resource that we have. We would love to connect you with the help that you need. We'll be back right after this.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family, or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and
it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step towards genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. So glad that you're with us today. We're talking with Lynn, who has just been through unspeakable amounts of tragedies and losses in her life. And so, JJ, what does Lynn need to do now?
Well, as she already mentioned, there is a need to address both the grief and the trauma. So, there's a lot of grief. And so grief share groups would be a great place to start. If you haven't already looked into those, I think that would be a good resource for you.
I've done quite a few of those at local churches.
Oh, good.
When my husband and kids passed away, and they were wonderful.
Oh, good.
Good.
Okay.
And I thought I was on a good path, and then I got into this. The consequences of the abortions have caused me to lose all these people, and I'm reeling.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. That's so know that that's not true. Okay. And know that it doesn't mean that you weren't on a good path. It just means that you've had multiple losses, and so you may have been doing well recovering from the previous grieving, but there's new grief, right? You've had multiple people that you've lost, as well as the health scare with your own health scare. So it might also be helpful to look into doing something like EMDR as a way to process the trauma.
Well, and Lynn, remember that grief, with each passing grief, it's a snowball effect. And so we grieve all of the previous ones. And as we are growing and moving forward, we often circle back around, and then we do a little more work, and then we feel like, okay, we're on a good track, and then, you know what, something else gets triggered, and we do a little more work. And so it's really important, especially with so many here, to have your support systems in place. I'm glad that you've gone to Grief Share. No one says you can't repeat the process as many times as you need. Therapy, find a therapist that you can go and process with.
Get a therapist that specializes in EMDR. And because it sounds like your body is telling you what's going on.
When you find yourself, when your body is speaking to you like that, you're right. There's something not right, and there's more work to be done.
Yes, and your body's telling you what work needs to be done on that. So I think you're in a really, really good place to get the healing that you need, Lynn. So you seek out EMDR therapy. Again, go back to Grief Share. It's a great place, but we're going to send you a copy of Healing as a Choice. And if we could, we would just want to extend our arms around you and give you a big hug, because our hearts are hearts are broken for what you have had to go through, what you have endured. And just to echo on what my wonderful co-host has said, God's love for you is infinite. It's not compromised because of your past. In fact, I think it's just as big as ever because of the pain that you're experiencing. And we do trust and follow and believe in a God who does love and a God who does heal. So, Lynn, thank you so much for calling in today. We're going to go
Thank every one of you. I've listened for 30 years. And
thank you for that.
You guys are a blessing to me.
Oh, well, thank you so much for that. Well, listen, we're going to get to one final call today. We're going to go to Deborah, who is in DeLand, Florida, who listens on WKTO. Deborah, talk to us. What's going on today?
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
No problem. Well, and just to give you a heads up, we got about 5 minutes left here in the show, so if you can get to what's going on and how we can help you as quickly as possible, that'd be great.
Okay. My son, who has been using drugs for years, he finally gave up street drugs and went to a psychiatrist who ordered him some Xanax, and he wanted Adderall. After he took the Adderall, he became extremely paranoid. Since then, he's been very, very paranoid. He can't work. He can't live with anybody because he accuses them of spying on him and trying to frame him and kill him. And so he finally got desperate, and he went to detox in a behavioral center. And today he walked out of there. He's been there a couple of weeks, and he walked out and says they're after him now. And so I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to help him. If there's some way I can force him into treatment, or because he's not in his right mind. So I don't know.
No,
how
he's
old is he?
definitely not in his right mind.
How old is he?
29 right now.
29. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's
And they released him in this state.
Or he probably walked
or
out.
Maybe
on his,
he signed
walked on his own volition.
He signed
yeah.
himself out. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha, because he became paranoid.
He went AMA.
Right. Yeah. Because there are certainly medications, proper medications, not the ones that are addictive.
Definitely not the ones he was given, yes.
That can help with those symptoms. But when you have chronic drug use, and who knows what all he was using, paranoia becomes a part of it. If you are clean and sober, it can clear up, but it can take like a good year for those symptoms to subside. Often, though, or we're finding out more and more that sometimes, chronic drug use then awakens mental illness, and so that becomes an ongoing issue. I think, in your son's paranoia, is he trusting you, Deborah?
Yes.
He is trusting you. Okay.
Yes, but he doesn't think I believe him when I don't believe his stories.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think then maybe you don't get into that, but you can empathize. Well, that must be really scary for you, to feel like they're after you. And really try to maybe, talk with him about how he might help himself. And it may be an ongoing process. There isn't an easy way without getting him, if he's a danger to himself or others, then you can have him 5150'd and evaluated that way. But then you're just going back through the same cycle. So I think appealing to him that life can be better and that using what you know about him and how he responds to you and staying in communication with him. So don't get into the arguments about what's real and not real. It's all real to him.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, he doesn't have a place to live, and so I have been trying to, he goes to this hotel, and then he's afraid of that hotel, so he goes to another one, which is breaking my finances.
Yeah. Well,
and he really needs treatment.
So Deborah, only because we're running out of time here. So really what Jill was saying about initiating a 5150. And so...
Well, I have done that.
Okay. So, and this is going to be a moment-by-moment situation.
It is, yeah.
And I'm so sorry you're in this, because the sort of help that we have, the remedies that we have for high-end mental illness situations like your son is in, is actually fairly limited. But it doesn't mean we want to give up.
Right, and they resist
but
the help. That's the problem.
That's the limitation, is there's not much we can do to force the proper solution on him. Right. So what you want to be able to do, Deborah, is continue to see what resources are out there, including legal resources out there, to maybe get a conservatorship over your son, to then be able to force the issue a little bit more. But most importantly, I think that you need a lot of care, Deborah. This is a really, really heartbreaking situation you're in. There's a National Association of Mental Illness, or National Alliance, of Mental Illness, known as NAMI. They have a lot of support groups for families in there. And we're going to send you a copy of Understanding and Loving your child with ADHD. And even though that's not specific to ADHD, understanding and loving your child with mental illness is a way to kind of manage yourself around a very, very difficult situation. Deborah, thank you so much for calling in today. Thank you all for being with us. And until next time, be well.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you. But you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video? And please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.